Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today you got snow and a lot of it. So as you can tell, snow melt's running, slowly getting up to temp here.
Look over there.
Yeah.
That was mud puddles.
No, it's just water. So snow melt's running. I've had it on for, I'd say, roughly about 4 hours. So came out here early and we already had, I'd say, 2 inches of snow. So this year I wanted to have it where it was automatically on before or just when it started to snow. So like this loop here, as you can tell, is obviously warm, and when the snow comes down it's melting instantly. That's kind of what I wanted to do for every snowfall, but last night before I went to sleep it wasn't snowing yet, so I was like, you know, the weathermen lately haven't been really that on par. So I waited to turn it on, got up around 5:30, saw we already had a couple inches. I turned it on, and eventually I came out here and I added wood to the boiler because my system is heated by an outdoor boiler. So like I said, it's been running 4 hours. It's got up to temp a few times and it's doing its normal cycle, so that's good. Right now, let's see here. We have, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's 100, probably 102 going out, and we're almost at 80 coming back. So the system should cycle here shortly. We're almost there. I think I got it set at 77 or 78 degrees when the water comes back, that it'll do its normal thing and shut down kind of deal. But it'll still circulate the water, but it'll stop heating it and just let it do its thing. And I think I have it to 5 or 6 degree differential until it turns back on. So pretty happy with it. It works. Yeah, you do go through a good amount of wood because she's working. I mean, it takes a while. So, but the system's working. I got no leaks, which is good because this is the first time we've ran it this year. So it's working. So if you remember, last year I only had 2 expansion tanks or additional thermal tanks, and I added 2 more this year, which I've made a video on that. But so now I have 4. So, and the reason behind that is, so originally I didn't have any of this when I first started the snow melt build, and when the snow melt turns on, it's a huge heat exchanger, you know, from the glycol running through the system, goes to the heat exchanger to be heated by the outdoor boiler. When that system's running, it robs, give or take when it first starts up, about 80 degrees off the water. So we go from 180 degrees down to 100. That's 100 degrees going back to the boiler versus 160, you know, if a normal system's running. So that's robbing a lot of heat. So the boiler would definitely drop in temp. I mean, I saw it one time as low as 150 degrees. And at the time I was running it at 180s max temp, 170, it would turn back on and start to burn again. So when it came back down to 170, by the time the fire got cranking, it was already down to 160, 155, 150, and then it would creep back up. So originally I added the first tank, and that drastically slowed it down, where the boiler has time to catch back up, and so on. I added another tank last year, so I had 2. Well, and the way I have it set up, instead of having just 1 big tank, this one slowly mixes, right? And then while that one's slowly getting colder, this one slowly gets colder, and then it went back to the boiler. So it gave the boiler time to come back up in temp. So I seen that having 2 of them made a drastic difference. I'm like, well, what if I add 2 more? That should expedite the process, right? Until everything gets cold, right? If everything gets cold, now no matter what, you're putting back that super cold water. So the goal was to slow it down enough to the point where the boiler could be running at optimal temp to give the snow melt time to get up to temp. So when the snow melt turns off from being heated, it gives this system time to catch back up with the hot water So when it turns back on again, it kind of repeats the cycle. So that was the goal, and it works. It gives the system time to catch back up, and surprisingly, my math was correct. And right now, I want to say having the 4, it gives the boiler, it's about an hour of runtime with the snow melt before the cold water hits back to the boiler. And by that time, that has heated up, it's doing its cycle, and we're good. So it kind of saves the boiler. You're still going to burn the same amount, it's just not running consistently and running. Now obviously if I wasn't here, I couldn't run the system because the boiler would be out of wood. It'd be stone cold. Down the road, I'll probably end up putting a sensor on here that it doesn't turn this on unless the water coming in is at a certain temp, just in case like something happens and you know, water's super cold or the boiler shuts down for whatever reason, that it just isn't just running. So you kind of almost need to monitor as it's working right now. I may change that, I may not, I don't know. I'm usually here when it snows. I'm not working at the time, so. But no, I'm pretty happy with it. It's like I said, it's operating as it should. I don't know if I'll do a snow melt video just because it's a little late, like a time lapse. If you guys want to see that, we're supposed to get more snow in a couple days, so this will be bone dry. I will do a follow-up because I'm not going to do the rest of the driveway, snow blowing that is, until this is fully dry, so I can show you that it works and it's dry, and everything else has snow on it. So that'll be pretty cool to see. I'm not monitoring how much wood I go through. I have an abundance of that, so that's no problem, but it's working. I'm still kind of tweaking some things as far as flow rates go, because as you can tell over here, there's more snow there, but I know it's working, but the wind's going this way. This loop is the 4th loop, which I know is the shortest. So I'm assuming, and I have that loop turned down pretty good. So, but no, she's working. I mean, within that time, the temperature being mixed has gone up a couple degrees already. So yeah, now we're almost at 110 out. Still struggling with the return temp coming back. So like I said, I'm still tweaking the flow rates. I'm still kind of playing with the pump settings to see if I can bump them up or not. It's kind of a catch-22. The faster I push the water, the more heat it takes off the boiler, and it's kind of give or take. So I am gonna, how do I explain this? I am going to add an additional system to this one and to the rest of that loop eventually. The only way I'm going to do that is when we go solar. I'm probably going to go solar here shortly for at least the shops, because this has its own panel. So I'm sometime soon, hopefully, I don't know when, because I got to get panels up on the roof. This whole shop, which pretty much runs my whole business, will be solar completely, which will be a huge system when all this stuff is running, right? So the boiler would be solar. You don't have to worry about losing power. We don't lose power a lot, but if I can supplement the grid and just use what I need, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna put something else in line with this to kind of help with this, which I think is gonna be huge. We'll see. I'm kind of excited about it actually, because I'll do a full build on it and I'll see how it works, because I don't know when we're going to do our addition on our house, but after that's done, we're going to do the snow melt on the whole driveway. And it's a very long driveway. It's very steep, and that's why I want to do it. I'm only getting older, and we're probably going to stay here till we die. So that's the last thing I want to be doing, is messing around with snow when I'm, you know, can barely walk. So I would like it where I could just push a button and it'd be done. So I'm going to add something up there, I think. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm still doing a lot of research on what I want to do. I may separate this completely off of the boiler. I don't know if I want to do that or not. The only reason I say this is because, like, if I put an electric boiler setup in, like how normal snow melt systems run, instead of the boiler, the wood boiler that is, I don't think that maybe they make ones they can heat up to 180 degrees. I don't know. Because right now, I should have a temp sensor there. One of these days, I'm going to put one in so I know exactly what's coming in and what's going out right here. But I kind of know what's being mixed because it's coming in at 110 degrees right now is being mixed. That's pretty good. So I'm taking 110 degrees off the 180 degree loop. So to me, that's really good. So I don't know if I could get that hotter or not. I don't think so. So it's just the water that's leaving is really cold, putting a strain on the boiler. So if I could, and not necessarily, I could technically change the differential on the boiler to be 5 degrees instead of 10. I think that would help, but I don't know if I want to do that because I think it would cycle all the time and I don't want it to do that. So, but for me to add a bunch more systems to do the rest of the driveway, there's no way I could do that with this section running. And for how steep my driveway is and where all the water goes, I'm going to have to do the whole thing at once because otherwise the water is going to go down the driveway and freeze. And now you're dealing with ice. To melt ice is a lot different than snow. It takes a lot longer to do. You get bridging, so it's not sitting on the cement being, melted. It's just a huge problem. So, but it's a long driveway, and that's what I'm going to have to do. I think I know how I'm going to do it. I'll have another one like this for the section of concrete in front of the garage. But then the rest of the systems I'm going to design, I think, a little different, just because it's super long. I'll probably have 1.25 inch PEX on the side of the driveway, obviously in the ground, going all the way down and back. That'll be on a separate heat exchanger. I think that will go to off the driveway in the ground boxes, probably 3 or 4 stations depending on how long the loops go, because the driveway's not that wide. It's maybe, I think it's 10 or 12 feet wide. It does widen down below, but and then that loop will go continuous off of this loop here being heated to heat a different heat exchanger to go into the concrete. So when that water is at a certain temp, each system will turn on individually. I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm not exactly sure. I know that is going to take a ton of BTUs to do the whole driveway. And the way I have it set up, there's no way I could add more systems to my current one. So I have to adjust it somehow. So I think, like I said, once I get the solar input on, I'll be in business because that's going to draw a lot of electricity. So we'll see. That's kind of my thoughts. Curious to see what you guys think. Yes, I could just do standalone systems for each one and not be intertwined with that, but I kind of don't want to do that. I may end up doing that down the road. I just kind of like the fact that my outdoor boiler is heating my driveway. It's a pretty cool concept. It works. I'd rather be burning wood than using electricity and paying a lot of money, because to run an electric boiler, a big one, that you would have to be a good size one to continue to heat the loop of water or glycol circulating. It would cost a lot of money. I mean, it would probably be $20, $30 a day, if not more, just for this system versus using a boiler that's only running a fan. So that's kind of my thoughts. I'm curious to see what you guys think for down the road, that is. What system or how I should add or change something to get it to be more efficient, I should say. The key is you're taking extremely cold water coming back to reheat it, and it's just non-stop, right? So no matter what, you're pulling BTUs every second that this is running. So it takes a lot to reheat that. Now, I want to say it's 180 coming in to the heat exchanger. Let me check. If I can open this, I'll show you guys. So right now, hopefully you can see, I have 181 degrees in the boiler, almost 182. So that should be pretty close, we'll just say 180 degrees going through the heat exchanger right now, non-stop. So I don't know if electric boiler even goes that high. I want to say for sure I know they go to 160. So that wouldn't work with how big. This is 10 loops and they're long. I mean, each loop I want to say is around 220 feet times 10, that's over 2,000 feet. That's a lot of glycol that's coming back cold that needs to be heated. So 160 degrees, could you get it up to temp? Maybe. Now, if there was only 5 loops, no problem. If I shot even 2 of those off and just do 8 of them, it circulates no problem. So is it a flow rate issue? Maybe. I mean, I bumped it up just now just to see. But at the same time, you're pumping more glycol faster, right? So you're taking even more heat off of the other loop. Yes, I can turn that pump up too. That's on the lowest setting. And it's a big pump. So, but then you're also pumping colder, faster back to the boiler. So it's like I said, it's kind of a catch-22. But could I get it up to temp a lot quicker? I'm not sure. I haven't done that test yet. It works the way I have it set up. It just takes a little bit. And I'm behind the curve, so she's going to have to run a little longer than I anticipated. But this is a long storm, so. But yeah, no, it's working great. Boiler's running good. I'm happy with that. So, like I said, I think this should cycle off here in a minute. So, but yeah, if you guys want to see more time lapses of the snow melting, let me know, because in a couple days we're supposed to get another snowfall. But I will preheat it for that. I'm not going to do what I just did here and playing catch up, because that always is never a good idea, because you're going to get bridging and you kind of have to move some snow around, and I don't like doing that. You could just let it run and it will melt eventually. You're just running the system that much longer. So yeah, let me know if you want to see time lapses. I can do that. And like I said, in a couple days I'll do that, depending on when it snows. If it doesn't in the middle of the night, I'd have to get up and set up the camera. So, which I did that last year. I don't know why I didn't do it this year. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if you want me to do that time lapse, and as always, keep burning.